Simpson. And Japan have gone absent without leave. This is Whitmore. Hall and Gale both available. It's still Whitmore. It is the Reggaeboyz who take the lead.
Ball shot. Oh, when the Spurs go marching in. And yo, I want a song. I want a tune there. Where's Spurs tune? Welcome to Ball Chat Halftime Show. My name is Benton and I'm with the family. Junior, what go on? I need to get you on camera, family, because I figure you have your suit on or something. Junior, I can't hear you.
Yo, which suit? Listen, so I have a sleeveless tank top. Really hard work time. It's time for putting in some work of a build up. So,
but I thought you were gonna wear a suit for tonight's show, family.
yeah, but you know, sometimes you have to be blue collar, sometimes you have to be white collar.
Yo, but we need to get working on getting you on camera right now. But overall, how you doing, family?
What the hell you mean by how I'm doing? What you want me for Benton?
I mean, just tell us how you really feel, boss. How you really feel? This is, you don't know a ball chat, we don't go around bush and talk, we keep it 100. Just like a man of a cavalier say, him in a feelings, him in a business.
I feel relieved.
You feel relieved. All right, that's good to hear. Good to hear. Football family, Ball Chat Halftime Show, call-in show. For the listeners, we have our call-in numbers up and ready to go. We also have Zoom available for the listeners if someone wants to call in on Zoom. But it's all about European League. We have the Jamaican Premier League final. We're going to leave Junior front and center because it's all about Manchester United and European League. So we're just going to leave him front and center right now. We have the Jamaican Premier League final. We have the Reggaeboyz provisional squad, the Reggae girlz squad, and a lot of things to discuss. Talk to me, family. Talk to me. Where would you like to begin, sir?
I don't care.
I think you should speak up for the family. I mean, you gotta make sure you speak up there, sir.
Say I don't care.
Big up, Michelle. Michelle said, big up Ball Chat. Big up. Family, we can't hear you now. People, call the number is 770-966-6040. That's our call-in. You also can call in on WhatsApp, 352-745-0992. We want to hear from the fans. But first and foremost, we want to hear from the Manchester United man. What go on over there, so? What go on? You know what, I figured something out today, Junior. You know what I figured out today?
What? Water is wet?
No, not that. Manchester United and West Indies cricket team are bug teams. West Indies cricket team lost 2 games today, men and women, and they're at the level of Manchester United. So I understand your emotions right now. So talk to me.
No. For that joke aside, I am relieved. I'm relieved. Look, I'm not. I will say some things. I will run some jokes. Big up to Michelle. She says she's here for the menu cooking.
Yeah, we are some skewer the goat, put her jerky goat there.
But you know, unlike my other fellow Manchester United fans, who some might be a little bit delusional, I feel relieved at what happened. And look, I said it last week. I said that Spurs is the favorite. Man U, they beat Man U 3 times this year. There's no reason for me to bet that Spurs was going to lose to Man U just because it's a European final. Hell no. You lose to the Man them 3 times this year. That counts for something. I, as a Man U fan, I want to win. And it would be nice to have Champions League football. That is me speaking as a fanatic. But as a supporter of the club, I want to see long-term success. A coping mechanism for me, and maybe this is me lying to myself. It is what it is. If I'm lying to myself, that's cool. But for me, it is what happened to Man U today is for the better. I won't come on this show for the last 4 years. Ever since my ball chat has been in existence, I've been saying Man U needs to go to rock bottom. They need to restart. They need to blah, 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 blah. They cannot finish any worse than they have done. They have 39 points. Forget about the Europa League final. They have 39 points in the whole year in the English Premier League. They are 17th in the English Premier League. They cannot be anything worse than this is relegation. And if they get relegated, then I will just dissolve my Man U card. So this is for the better. Spurs won on the night. The worst thing, and I don't see a lot of people floating this around, but the emotion that Spurs played with and the way how Spurs approached the game. First of all, it's a horrible game, terrible game. And I told you last week, it was going to be a terrible game. There was nothing pretty about the game. It's 2 bug sides playing. However, Spurs just seem to want it more. And they got the lucky goal. Onana should have saved that, but it's Onana. They got the lucky goal, and they decided that they're going to lock shop for the next 68 minutes. They are going to lock shop. And Manchester United did not pressure Spurs. They had a couple chances, yes. Luke, the goalkeeper, made a great save on Luke Shaw's header in the last minute, in the 95th minute, 96th minute. Vanda, whatever his name, took the ball off the line when the goalkeeper spilled it and Rasmus had a free header. But the conspiracy theorist in me feels like a message was delivered to the players leading up to this game, probably not today, but very, very recently. Like, it doesn't matter what you guys do this year. Half of you not going to be here next year. And that's the way they played to me. They played like they weren't interested. There was no energy. There was no vibe to trying to win. And that to me is unexcusable. It's inexcusable.
Big up BM. BM says if you want to depress, do 2 things. Listen to Chronic Law and watch Man United. I'm going to take a break from this team. I don't know which is the worst, Reggaeboyz or Man United. Yo, selector, pull up a Chronic Law tune. Alright, you know, some day I laugh, but me need to make amends still. I need to issue an apology. Where is the camera? Right, which one the camera there? Over here, side there. Yeah, right as up. Ange, Postacoglu. I am sorry. I am sorry for doubting you. I think I said there's no way Spurs was going to win trophy. Ange said this, in December, that he normally wins a trophy in his 2nd year. And I said, man, stop it foolishness. Stop it flockery. This is Spurs. You will not win a trophy. And ultimately, Ange Postacoglu said, you don't know what you're talking about. Congrats to Spurs. Congrats to Ange. And I am sorry. I don't know what I'm talking about regarding Ange and prediction with trophy. So I want to get that apology out of the way because I was emphatic. I didn't see it coming. I did not see it coming. I mean, even though Manchester United's a bug side and they're the worst. This is the worst performance from Manchester United since 1972-73 season, which was a relegation season. I did not see Manchester United losing this game, but overall, what I must say, Spurs Ange and Spurs has been criticized throughout the football season, and during his tenure at Spurs for not committing to defending, for not changing tactics, for not adjusting after taking a lead. And what did he do today in this final? They modified, they changed things, and they defended like their lives depended on it. Yeah, them got some lucky breaks, but at the end of the day, you have to defend, and they were committed. Young Min Son, big up your damn self. Trophy. Harry Kane couldn't win a trophy. Gareth Bale couldn't win a trophy. Luka Modric couldn't win a trophy. Young Min Son, big up yourself. Does that make Young Min Son a Spurs legend then, right?
Yeah, of course. Cause he's a captain of a trophy-winning team.
Yeah, so Ange said after the game he's nobody's clone. Of course, he's ecstatic. Even with this victory, we don't know if he will remain at Spurs. But by and large, if he does leave or he does get the boot, he will be going out on his terms. And his stock price would have remained at a high level in terms of being able to get another job.
Yeah. I mean, you say one game, 90 minutes. 90 minutes. See, Michelle says Son is a Spurs legend, no doubt. But 90 minutes change the vibe of a whole season. Because remember, you know, we went through the whole. We even had shows where we were joking. Would Ange even be a Spurs coach in the Europa final if they were to make it that far? And look at where we are now, talking about next year with Ange. Like, we think that everything with Levy is just going to be papered over, and everything, we're moving on now. We're moving on up. It's greater, greener pastures now. That's what we're trying to sell to people right now, right? Which that shows the power of sports to me, because Spurs not going to change overnight, and the reality is, if Spurs was playing against a team that was in a better place mentally than them, they lose today because they didn't play that well. They only had 2 touches in the Manchester United 18-yard box in the second half. 2 touches. So that's how poor of a game this was from a Man U perspective. But hats off to them. They get a reset button. Both teams have a reset button. But they get to start with from a better place. They get to start the next season knowing that they have to play in the European Premier competition. So if they were to compete for the signing of any footballer, they have that card that they can pull. But they still have a lot of changes that they need to make, because as currently configured, dog damn Spurs supper next year in Champions League. That's just the truth.
Well, I don't think it's fair for someone who is not in Champions League to speak on those who are in Champions League talking about dog damn supper. Spurs immediately get £100 million windfall for this Champions League qualification. Man United would desperately use $100 million right now.
So how much does Man U? This is a joke. This is a joke of the whole thing.
Talk to me. Can educate me there? Because I don't know how to go.
So here's a joke. Fine. Spurs get probably 130 million. That's the number hasn't come out as yet, right?
Yeah.
How much does Man U get?
So you do get. Tell me, because them not play champions. £100 million is for Champions League automatically.
It doesn't matter about. We're talking about the payment right now, the money you get for winning the Europa League.
Oh, I'm not referring to the money for the Europa League. I'm talking about the Champions League money. So, that's a different. I don't know about the prize money for the Europa League. So you can talk to me about the prize money for the Europa League. That's your reference.
No, what I'm saying is both teams going to get something.
Okay, yes.
Spurs going to get more. But Spurs has that caveat of saying, I have Champions League football. But does that mean that Spurs going to go out and get Gyökeres next year? Remember, this is the same Spurs ownership that ran Man City off the field in the Champions League with Pochettino. And they did not back Pochettino after that year. They ran the best team in England off the field in Champions League in the knockout stage. I think it was the quarterfinals. And they did not back Poch next year. Why do we think that they're going to do better this year? Why do we think Levy going to do better this year? So I'm not talking facts. It's just facts. So
yeah, I mean, I do definitely appreciate the position you make it. You know, Spurs historical. This is why this team haven't won a trophy in 17 years. Because of party shop and ultimate foolishness going around at the club. No, and this is just could be a blimp in the maybe it's not gonna be another 17 years for another trophy.
It's like Michelle asks, like by Delap. I was talking about Liam Delap from Ipswich, which blows my mind. I will soon talk about the transfers. We're going to talk about that Sunday. Because remember Sunday is the season.
Rory Delap's son. Is it Rory Delap?
Yeah, talk about Liam Delap from Ipswich.
Yeah, I think it's Rory Delap Pitney, you know.
I think so. Yeah,
he came to Man City's setup.
Yeah, but people, let me say something that some pundits. I'm not discovering anything. I watch other shows and some pundits, I'm crediting some pundits for saying this as well. Liam Delap is only being talked about because he's cheap. It's 30 million. He's a cheap striker that has some form of potential. But he's not the next Harry Kane. So if I was Spurs, all right, so let's talk about Spurs real quick, better. What is it forecasted into next season? Spurs going into Champions League next year. What do you think Ange need? Because they're still the 16th team in the English Premier League. What do they need to have some form of a season next year?
All right, so I wouldn't. The striker position wouldn't be the first go for me. You've already shelled out what? How many millions in Dominic Solanke? And Dominic Solanke is he's ahead of Rory Delap. I wouldn't make that investment. I think Spurs, I would focus more on the midfield. Bissouma needs very good competition and very good cover. I also think they need a creative midfielder. So I would get rid of what the boy from Argentina name? I can't remember. Santa Cruz. No, I can't remember his name. Bentoncourt. I would get rid of Bentoncourt and go for a very good midfielder. I would also look for Yeon-min Son left wing position. I mean, how much longer can you keep depending on Yeon-min Son? You have Kulusevski who missed the game tonight, who's a good baller. I would start looking at supplementing those wings with those wide positions. Now, Brandon Johnson, a young player who's good. You have the other youth, Odobert, who's relatively decent. But I don't trust Brandon Johnson. Even this goal that he scored today. The man missed a goal, you know. Luke Shaw hand the ball and a goal, you know.
Yeah.
So, those are the places I would focus on. And I know Vicario is a competent goalkeeper, but they also Spurs has Matthias Tell.
That's what I'm waiting on to say.
Yeah, so offensively, they might just need more help in the defensive side. That's probably where that money would go, more than midfield, and defense.
So Michelle, remember they have Matthias Tell. So, Tell
know
is
what?
there.
Spurs winning the Premier League next year. With this healthy team, you get Solanke, Matthias Tell, you get Yeon Son. You take this money and you invest in a midfield, in some midfielders, strengthen your defense. Spurs winning the league next year.
Okay. Michelle says Cunha should be announced with Manchester United tomorrow.
Where?
Right? Tomorrow or Friday.
Matheus Cunha going to Manchester United?
Yeah.
See, this is the things I don't understand. Players not have no ambition. Why would Matheus Cunha? No, all right, fun and joke aside. All right, there's no sort of disrespect to Man United. I would have said it about any other team that I would expect higher sort of expectations, right? But fun and joke aside, Matheus Cunha is a baller who's top shelf baller. I think you walk straight into a Champions League, at least a Europa League side. I mean, what type of contract, what type of money am I get for this Man United move?
We know it won't be Europe. With FFP kicking in, you know it won't be any European based salary. So
okay, and because and I understand that Man United or whoever, West Ham, all these teams, they have to attract ballers, attract good players, and of course at the end of the day, what you don't want to be like a Matheus Cunha is then you're the man now. You see how Bruno, I try to be the man to carry this team. And then how comes you might be the new Bruno? You have to see other pieces in place for me make that a move there. If me a Matheus Cunha. More have to see other transfer and make moves before me go over the side there.
You have to be sold a dream. Man U is now in a position, both teams. I think both teams are in a position where they have to sell a dream because Gyökeres is an option for Tottenham. Even with Solanke, even with Tell, you still need that production up top. You still have players like a player that we talk about the left wing, a player that could pique Spurs' interest is Rafael Leao.
No, we don't want that baller there. No,
we're talking about attracting a player, selling them a dream, and also the player is in a position where you are their best option. Because Rafael Leao at AC Milan is not working, but no bigger team is going to want Rafael Leao right now. So Spurs or maybe Aston Villa.
No. Matheus Cunha, $83 million to Man United is the report coming out. From the Source brothers. And the reason why I say no regarding Rafael Leao, and I understand that Rafael Leao has talent. He's a talented player. But I've watched Rafael Leao and along with the Rossoneri nation at AC Milan. And this kid has not lived up to the expectations. When you make Christian Pulisic show up at a side and outperform you, you don't forget no other side, brother. You don't forget reward with a big money contract. I mean, Christian Pulisic not supposed to outperform Rafael Leao at AC Milan. It's just one is more talented, which is Rafael Leao. It's just simply whether Rafael Leao is willing to do the work. And that's a simple thing that differentiates him from other successful ballers. Rafael Leao seems like a player right now that has achieved what he wants out of football, and I wouldn't put down a dime to transfer that baller if I'm Spurs or any other club.
But we all know he's going to find a club this year that is playing Champions League. We know that. It's going to happen. Remember, I said that. Fabi Frano says that I thought after the 75th minute there about Tell would have come in for Solanke. He was definitely out. Michelle says, Man using financial problems, especially with no Europe. Tottenham will attract players who want to play in the Champions League, and she agrees with you, Benton, I'm guessing about Liao. Yeah, Tottenham is going to dangle that Champions League carrot, but they have a history, and I think that's going to work against them. So we'll see.
No,
will see.
but all right, me understand what you say about the history, but them have history, but them have money. And if an agent, yeah, big up to the super agent. The super agent right now just working magic. Make sure the same try front load that contract as best as he can. Next year, the next 2 years. And if Tottenham returns to being Tottenham, then you say, all right, Bala, you make your money in the first 2 years as maximum as you can. And then we try to then take over ourselves. But I think that if the coaching position needs to be settled. If they're going to stick with Ange, they need to be emphatic and like, this is the man. And I don't see why you wouldn't stick with him.
This is the reason why they fired Mourinho before their cup final. They didn't want to have this question that you're having right now. So yes, I think they have to stick with Ange. I think they're in a position right now that they cannot move on from Ange. So Ange will be there at least for the next year.
All right, looking at the other side of things, you opened the program by saying that, and again, we want to big up. By the way, family, you can call in. You don't have to listen to us speak. You can call in if you have a comment or questions. Numbers are 770-696-6040. We have WhatsApp number 352-745-0992. The other side of the coin, Man United. You said you are somewhat okay with the result because you want them to do the heavy work, the heavy lifting now of building the team properly. That's fair?
Yeah.
So my question then to you is that what are the indications that they will do the heavy lifting of building the team properly?
There is no indication that they will do it. There is no guarantee that they will do it. But guess what? If Man U becomes a team, no team is guaranteed or ordained in a position. None. You're not guaranteed top 4. You're not guaranteed Champions League. You're not guaranteed top 10. So if Man U want to become a team that is just trying to survive in the Premier League, then that's where they are right now. Just go survive in the Premier League. If that is what they want to be, then it is what it is. We, as the Manchester United fan base, will just have to sit down and just remember the glory days and be happy when we get a big result versus a Champions League side and say, oh, look, we just went out there and played hard against Aston Villa. Aston Villa was supposed to come here and odds on, beat us off and run us off the park, but we played them well. That's where Man U is right now. That's where they have always been, but they always figured out a way how to kind of escape where they are right now and trick and slip and fall their way into a position where somehow the players think that they are better than they are. And it was needed. I truly believe it was needed. And this is not me coping with it, because I would have preferred if Man U had won, go to the Champions League and get the big money like Spurs, but still do the reset. But the reset is needed.
Garnacho.
Gone.
Is this why? So Mason Mount played over Garnacho, which to many of us were surprised. I started the game over Garnacho. What was the mindset there, tactically, that the coach was looking to achieve?
I honestly feel like the coach, I feel like Ruben in the mid-season, when Jim Ratcliffe called him and said, hey, we needed to come coach the side, and Ruben said, no, let me finish here. So first, I would gladly come there in the summer. And he said, no, take it or leave it. And Ruben said, all right, I'll take it. But guess what? Your side not good enough. And I am going to play my way. And if we lose, we lose. And Jim said, okay, we will take that risk. And Ruben come in. And Ruben keep reminding them, look, remember I told you the side not good. I am going to play my way. I said all that to say, other than the Portuguese players, he doesn't have any favorites. It's clear Bruno is a favorite for him. It is clear Dalot is a favorite for him. After that, though, I don't see any clear favorites for him. So, and I think he likes Ahmad. I think he likes Ahmad. Other than that, he has no other clear favorites. So, like he said in the post-match interview when they asked about why he never start Garnacho, he said, well, Garnacho missed an easy goal in the semi-final the last time he started. So we start Mount. We scored in the last game. We scored the last time he scored a goal and went out there. Okay. Because guess what? If he had started Garnacho, we would have been talking about why he never start Mount. We would have been talking about
some of us not remember some Mount upon his side.
When Garnacho came on, other than the one shot, did you see any influence from Garnacho?
He only got 17 minutes.
But he had the one shot, and Mount actually did do some things well. But the side not good, Benton.
We not try to troll your side still, but we are say still. Because straight up we are talking. Garnacho Speid on the left wing and Dalot on the right wing. And if force the fast and full Pedro Porro to stay home. Not fast and full. Big up to Pedro Porro. Because of the speed that Garnacho possesses. Pedro Porro loves to attack. So, I don't know. I'm going to do my UEFA coaching license.
But it's revisionist history, though, because it's not like Spurs was bombing up the wings against Man U.
Yeah, this is true.
So it's not like, you didn't push them back. No, Spurs decided that we're going to play 80 minutes and defend. We get a goal, we're going to play 77 minutes and defend. We get a goal, we're locking it down. You figure it out. I think the biggest bug of the game today was Bruno.
Yeah, he definitely had an off day.
Yo, he had a regular day.
Yeah, he had an off day. His energy level was not what it normally is. Bruno Fernandes would be dogging players, cussing out players. Today, man say, I'm tired there, man. You can't wait for the season over.
Yeah, that's how you interpret it. The way I interpret it, because it's more than just gesticulation and talking on the field. Play ball. So yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
He didn't play any football today. They look like trash.
When Bruno, if you have to decide, well, in a few weeks, Man United fans will decide, and Man United brass will decide the player of the season. Isn't Bruno Fernandes like one or two best players of the season? Amadou Diallo?
Yes, but not because it's a bell curve. So not because you get a C in a class and everybody else get a F, that means that you are a Rhodes Scholar.
Bruh, I'm mastering the material. Them brother they run a cocan and don't know the math. We take some maths class sometime and we get seen night and we say, yo, them other man they don't know what them a do. Oh, especially over you. The man say, yo, okay.
You know, we have a discussion in a Man U WhatsApp group where some of the man them is trying to convince me that Bruno is better than Jude Bellingham.
Oh, that's too far. Well, it's the same WhatsApp group that said Lamine Yamal are the best player right now. So we just
best player in the world. And I'm like, what are we talking about here? And the man said, if if Bruno was in Real Madrid instead of Jude, Real Madrid would be playing in the Champions League final. I'm like, do you watch Bruno play?
No.
Do you watch? And I'm not excusing Jude for his disappearing accident, but do you see how much loose possession? But yo, look, Manu not good. I like what Michelle said. Manu is in the mud. Need at least 8 new players and even new owners whilst having financial problems. 100% agree. And let me tell you this right now. This is coming from a Manchester United fan. That is not delusional. I'm not delusioned. I am not in mourning. I'm not in pain. I'm speaking with you from a somewhat clear mind. Manu, I would be happy if Manu finish in the top 10 next year. In the summer, if this was PlayStation, I would get rid of the whole team. The only player that I would keep is possibly Lenny Euro. Possibly. But everybody else is for sale. Everybody else can go. And I would sit and hope and pray that I get some bid for every player on my roster. Because, and I'm talking the active roster. I'm not talking Obi. I'm not talking no kid in the academy. Bruno should be gone. And it's not because Bruno isn't playing well. Manu is not going to be a decent team. And you can clip me up for this. You can peg me. You can not peg. Pause. You can pin that and pin me saying this. Manu is not going to be anywhere near relevant for the next 3 years. So if I have a footballer that is under or over the age of 25, 26, they can go. Because the next time Manu is relevant, they either would be out of their prime or about to exit their prime. They don't need to be around for the rebuild. I want to build a side over. I want to build Brentford and hope for a Brighton season. And if I get a Brighton season, then I try to leverage the history of the side to kind of bump me up to become Aston Villa. How long will that take? That's 4 or 5 years.
How the mighty are falling, as the Natty would say.
It is what it is. It's all right.
But
I'm not leaving. I am not leaving. Me stay a Manu. Benton, let Michelle and everybody else know. Because Michelle probably don't know. Which team is your team in English Premier League, Benton?
West Indies cricket.
No. Michelle, Benton is a Southampton fan.
Yeah, I support Southampton. You know why?
Yeah.
You know why? Because Southampton, whatever Liverpool wins, Southampton get a piece of it.
But say that no officer, next year on Ball Chat, we are going to talk about League One.
No, we're not discussing League One.
You not going to tell us that Southampton is undefeated?
No, we will not discuss Southampton.
Benton, you're going to come on Ball Chat next season and say, Michelle, I say, what?
So we will not discuss Southampton. And for the record, Liverpool will not be where it is without Southampton. Supply line.
All right. So you have a good haberdashery.
Yeah, I mean, so Virgil van Dijk, Sadio Mane, I mean, and Chelsea right now have so you have some teams that serve purpose, some purpose that they supply players, and Southampton is in the supply business, you know. Sometimes you get relegated as you supply. In fact, we need Chelsea to make sure they send the money for Romeo Lavia fast, because we need the money to make some more other moves. You know. Before we leave Man United, though, Junior, I want to make sure so we get it on record, because there's been a lot of criticism about Amorim. It's the normal criticism of a Man United manager who's struggling. You think he's the right man for the job? I think I saw somewhere where statistically his performance is pretty poor, right? Is it relative to the new managers, the Eric Ten Hag, the Ole of the world, and blah? It's just that the fact that he's getting the squad at that late stage in this situation, or is just him need time to build theme squad.
He's the right man right now for what he's doing.
Okay.
When Arteta signed for Arsenal, I was one of the ones that supported what Arteta did. If you remember what Arteta did when he first came to Arsenal was what? He jettisoned Aubameyang. And Aubameyang was the poster child for this is an unfortunate statement, but it is what it is. From an Arsenal perspective, and I'm not talking as a fan, I'm talking as a armchair coach. Aubameyang was the poster child for Arsenal's mediocrity. And Arteta came in and trimmed the poster child and everybody that is associated with him. And built Arsenal to what they are right now. The question for Arsenal is Arteta the man that can take them over the top? That is a question to be answered. Ruben Amorim is doing the same thing that Arteta did, and he's doing it on a wider scale. He's cutting Manchester United down to bare bones. He got rid of Rashford, got rid of Anthony, jettisoned.
Wait, did he get? He didn't get rid of. Yes. They're on loan, right? So these are not permanent moves yet.
They're not coming back.
Okay,
these are
okay. But we just want to make sure so me not lose my head. These are loan moves.
No.
Okay.
Because of their salaries, it's impossible to get another team to take it on full time. Okay. That's a problem, right? But he signaled the team is going right, then Monday going left.
Okay.
And him tell you, it's clear he told certain players, you're not playing here next year. That is something that is needed at Man U. It should have happened coaches ago. Jose said it, he got fired. Ragnick said it, and Ten Hag come in and say, we don't need Ragnick to be a special advisor. Go ahead. You're too disrespectful to the players. Ragnick said they need open heart surgery. Remember Ragnick said
so my question Anthony and people around him thinks that with his performance, we'll see Anthony in the Conference League final coming up, that he deserves a second chance at Man United.
Why the hell does he deserve a second chance at Man United?
Because he's been playing well at Betis. Do you not understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Hold on. But listen to this question. If you are playing better at another team and doing better, why the hell you need to wear a Manchester United shirt?
Because the other team does not own your contract. This Manchester United owns your contract.
Let me word it for you better. The other team don't want you. That's what happened with Sancho. When Sancho went to Dortmund and the whole lot was clowning me. Oh, look at Sancho saying he's happy. Look at Dortmund. Oh, Sancho is home.
Well, he did say he was happy.
Yes, and Dortmund said, what a difference a team makes when a player is happy. Ray. And then when the season done, Dortmund pick up the phone and when Man U says Dortmund calling, yo, Dortmund, what's up? Why, I want to tell you, brother. Sancho, yeah, you ready for the contract? Why, I want to tell you, it's a joke still, you know. Exactly. What do you think Aston Villa doing with Rashford? When last you see Rashford play for Aston Villa?
Yeah, of course, I would send them back, yes, because I would send them back. Chelsea's the only idiot team that made and started commitments to these players. To this player, Sancho.
No. Don't disrespect Chelsea. Word on the street is Chelsea sending back Sancho. And they will pay
but he's sending him back with, they're paying £5 million, right?
Which is nothing. If I can pay $5 million for cut my last for a bug player, of course. If you tell me, Benton, that $5 million you get rid of Onana today for $5 million. Tell me for $15 million, I am paying that. Write the check right now. Ange Onana, here you go, $15 million. Get the hell out of the club.
See, but Um, wait. Somebody offer uh, Jadon Sancho to the Bundesliga. Who is that? Is it Chelsea that's offering Jadon Sancho to the Bundesliga, or is it Manchester United? Oh,
Or is it Sancho's agent?
um, no, the thing that I'm saying regarding Sancho and the $5 million, granted, it might be small amount, but I am mean and I'm cheap. Um, I, I I would not make any sort of obligations for $5 million, £1 million, or whatever the number is. I said, look, you have a player, you want him to get some minutes, I need a winger. Send him, cover off his salary for the season, and then at the end of the season we talk. If he does well, then we can look to sign him permanently. If he doesn't do well, you take him back. And that may I do with this loan deal. But somehow Chelsea convinced themselves, Maresca and others thought about, oh, this is the player that we need. And then Jadon Sancho or Maresca was like, oh, he was such a good player or something to that effect when I had him at Man City. And I don't even know if they passed cross at Man City, if I remember clearly. So some clubs, whatever, reach them. But you're convinced that Man United has the right coach, so we'll see what happens with that.
For the current situation, to get them out the current situation.
Yeah, Michelle set up the Chelsea. So, Michelle, I have nothing to say, but do you have any thoughts on Jadon Sancho's situation? What's your thoughts? Should Chelsea pay the £5 million and send Jadon Sancho back to Man United, or they should sign Jadon Sancho to a permanent deal? I think your time and type, Michelle. Don't type fast.
I think your answer is going to depend on, you're going to say it depends on if Arsenal send back Raheem Sterling.
Well, Arsenal will be sending back Raheem Sterling. See, Arteta already decides that Sterling will be on his way. Yo, big up to Sterling, but from Sterling baptized, the ball game gone to the dog. Nah, I mean, big up to Sterling, but I mean, he has had an outstanding career.
Well, he put on the machine gun.
As something, the gun on him foot. No. Big up Raza, big up family, big up. And remember, this is a silly season we are entering now, because remember last year, Raza forward said, boy, I'm ready, I'm ready for the season. He did the tour of the US with Chelsea and rah, and Enzo Maresca said, brother, you know my plans.
Hey, Michel's a useful squad player, can keep him.
Oh, at what price though? Because he's expensive now.
But you say, I do not want, and do not in caps, want Sterling at my club.
Sterling will be back, Michelle, don't worry. But overall, we keep you up to date on the transfer season as it comes up, because a silly season around. But before we leave that, Frimpong, I think Frimpong completed his medical at Liverpool, per my Liverpool fans, right?
Yes.
Is that what you're hearing also?
Yeah, I've heard that's the report out, and the rich get richer.
Yeah, I think this is a good try. If Frimpong brings 90 or 80% of what he did at Leverkusen, Liverpool will have, because imagine Frimpong now gunning down that side, giving some relief for Mohamed Salah. I think Frimpong scored 15 goals the year they won the Bundesliga. It was him and Alejandro on the other side, just pushing high up the field. So,
and it's a clear, and no disrespect, but it's a clear upgrade. It's a clear upgrade, Benton.
Yeah, He will score more goals. Definitely, he will score more
And
goals.
he will actually defend.
Nobody defending part, and yeah,
No,
he,
he will
he
defend.
didn't score 15 goals. He scored 9 goals.
He will defend though. He's a very good defender. Very, very good.
Watch the space. Watch the space. All right, football family. This is Ball Chat Halftime Show. Remember to smash the like button. Remember to subscribe. You can call in. Numbers are
It's
7.
the last one.
What did you say, family?
It's the last one. It's the last one for the season.
Yeah, the last halftime show for the season because Sunday is our final weekly roundup show. Then we pivot to watch along and recorded content. Speaking of watch along and recorded content, let's head to Jamaican football family. Reggaeboyz, provisional 60 men squad drop for CONCACAF Gold Cup roster. Junior, you had a chance to look at the 60 players roster. There are some new faces, most notably Mikel Antonio is included. We know of his his very, very, very scary accident. And so it looked like Mikel Antonio will be available for the Gold Cup. He's in the roster. Coach, when Steve McLaren said that he spoke to Mikel is trying to be available for the West Ham final game. So this weekend, Mikel Antonio is trying to be on the bench for West Ham. He also said, Mikel Antonio said to include him in the squad for the Gold Cup and the upcoming Unity Cup. Junior, Mikel Antonio playing no ball for a long time. I understand say he's a key part of Jamaica and we love say he's feeling better. But is this a stretch too far to include this player in this roster?
It's disrespectful. And you know what? Let me not mince words, because Mikel Antonio is very financially set. So it's
no defamation lawsuit.
No defamation lawsuit. I don't think he'll waste his time on little old ball chat. And furthermore, if he would waste his time on little ball chat, you know, Melo said, my parents are watching, so let me be very careful. But I will tell him some choice words. But I'm starting to, and maybe because Man U lose today, I'm starting to have a very short fuse to supporting mercenary teams. And the reason why I'm saying Jamaica is a mercenary team, this tragedy, it wasn't a tragedy, but this accident occurred when, Benton? It
was it in February?
Winter.
Was it February or January?
In the winter.
Yeah, in the winter. I don't remember the exact date.
It doesn't matter. We don't have to worry about the exact.
I will pull it up.
But it was in the winter.
Yeah, it was in the winter.
We're now in spring of the same year, or of the same. Actually,
it was December 7th.
So December 7th.
Yeah.
We're now going into June. That's 6 months. 6 months. We sat here on Ball Chat and we reported that everybody was saying this is a career-threatening, career-ending injury. Shattered. His leg was shattered. But 6 months later, he will be ready to play an international game for Jamaica in the Gold Cup, while players tear a little dumb ligament in their knee. This man shattered his leg, while players, one little baby ligament tear, and that player is out for 12 months. But a man shatter him foot and is going to play 6 months later? No. And the mere fact that he reportedly is trying to get back in time for West Ham's last game tells me that he's playing for a contract in the summer, which is a good thing. We're going to get a motivated Mikel Antonio. But will he be physically fit enough to play? Now, people on his side might say, you don't need to be physically your best to look serviceable in the Gold Cup because you played against CONCACAF teams. But is that a risk that I want to take as a Jamaican fan? Going into the World Cup qualifiers this year, is that a risk I want to take as a Jamaican fan? So that is my problem with the 60-man provisional squad. It should have been you prove you're fit. How you prove you're fit? You have to play some games. Which games you can play? You have to play for West Ham. Brother, you have to go play for West Ham. And let me see you playing for West Ham to know that you are better than Cephas at the current moment. So that's my problem with the squad. It seems like we're still back to mercenary football, and we're going to sit here on ball chat, do a watch along, and act like Jamaica is trying to do their best to qualify for the World Cup.
Sure. Well, I just want to run through the 60-man squad. There's no Mason Greenwood, so we can. Should I ask Junior what's the latest on Mason Greenwood? Is it World Cup qualifiers for him?
No, I think the only way Mason Greenwood play for Jamaica, the first game Mason Greenwood will play for Jamaica is in a World Cup qualifier. Not a World Cup qualifier, it's in a World Cup tune-up game.
The squad.
That's the first game Greenwood will play for Jamaica.
You have what is Stephen Young, Tariq Zemenez, Romario Williams, Benjamin Williams, Shamar Watson. This can't right. This can't right. Shamar Watson. How would that? I can't. Man. Oh, it's a young. Okay. The young Cavalier baller. Because I was thinking about Haka.
No.
Haka. Oh.
Javan. Haka is Javan. No,
Javan Watson. Yeah, Shamar Watson. Jamali Wait, Ricardo Thomas, Javante Stewart, Jonathan Russell, Bobby Reed, Adrian Reed, Ethan Pinnock, Demario Phillips, Casey Palmer, Shamar Nicholson, Malik Motherswell. So this Malik kid plays for Chelsea. I think he came to the Chelsea youth system. I want to say he's with Peterborough. Dimitri Mitchell, New Face, Exeter City FC. Kyle Ming, Mount Pleasant, of course. Sule Makala, Tyree McGee, Jamal Lowe, Damian Lowe, Dexter Lambegisa, Greg Lee, Joel Latibodier, Javon Ling, Richard King, Genario Johnson, Goddale Irvin, Malik Howell. Yeah. The Las Vegas brother that. Yeah, Malik. Yes. I say we have football family sometimes because we interview Malik on ball chat. I forget. Yeah, Malik Howell out at Las Vegas Lights. Mason, so we had no Corey Bennett. Mason Holgate, Isaac Hayden, Tyrese Hall, Daniel Green. Wait, no Corey Bennett, Demari Gray, Robinho Gordon, Nikhil Ellis, Javon East, Kaheem Dixon, Shaquille Davis, Tafari Chambers, Ronaldo Cephas, Tyrese Campbell, Norman Campbell, Romaren Burrell, Warner Brown, Andre Blake, Corey Bennett. Okay, there's Corey Bennett. Amari Bell, Louis Baker, Leon Bailey, Dwayne Atkinson, Michael Antoni, Corey Anderson, Christopher Ainsworth, Corey Burke. Lexington SC, that's where Corey Burke is. Alvaz Powell, Nicalia Fuller, Andre Fletcher, Raheem Edwards. That's the 60 men. Remind
BM
listener.
BM says, what did Judah Fleming do to the JFF? This is a joke. Also said Trevante Stewart should get a fair chance. He's playing well in Serbia.
Trevante Stewart. So Trevante Stewart was in this Serie A. So BM, is this a loan move from the Serie A to Serbia? Is this a loan or permanent move? Because he signed with that Serie A. What club in Italy when he signed for? I don't remember the club because he was in this in the Scudetto when it was last year.
Yeah, I remember we talked about it last year too.
Let's see. Just remind listeners of the groups and the Gold Cup groups. Reggaeboyz in Group C. Panama, Guadeloupe, Guatemala are the other group contenders. Reggaeboyz will take on Guadeloupe June 20 at PayPal Park. Huh?
I get a call. Hold on. Carla, you live? You hear it? Hold on. Carla, can you hear us? Man, hang up that. Peter, you hear me?
Yeah, man, I hear you. We are hearing you loud and clear.
He said BM, call back.
Carla, drop. Call back again, listen, Carla. Trevante Stewart should get a fair chance. He's playing well in Serbia. This is why we can't take Jamaica's football seriously. Corey Burke, mixed squad. But Fleming, Corey Burke. I mean, that one surprised me, Junior.
Greetings, Carla. You hear us? Greetings, Carla. You heard us? Hold on. Don't hang up. Do not hang up. Hold on 1 second.
Football family working on some technical difficulties. This is why we need people to call in frequently so we can make sure the equipment are working.
But I hear him. We hear him clicking and I don't know what going on.
Hello, caller, you're on the ear. Talk to it. Nah, here.
That man in my ear, one.
Yeah, we're hearing the caller a little bit. Turn up caller audio. Football family, we're looking at the Reggaeboyz Gold Cup roster. 2025 CONCACAF Gold Cup roster. Some new faces in this squad, family. As we figure out.
Well, BM has said Judah Fleming, right? And that's a legit question. What going with Judah Fleming? I think I know what's going on with Judah Fleming.
What do you think is going on?
I don't want to be that guy.
What do you think? I mean, it cannot. All right, so they call some new faces here. Louis Baker is a new face. Louis Baker, we mentioned him of Exeter City. So he's in the group. There are a few young players. Baker has risen to a bit of background. He came to the Chelsea youth system. You have Dimitri Mitchell, will also bring with him experience. He's 28 years old. Mitchell came through Manchester United Academy. We have Malik Marcel has been given a nod for Stephen McLaren, and Malik scored 16 goals and 10 assists for so might as well nod from Steve McLaren. He played for Peterborough this season, so 16 goals, Peterborough. I think I saw this kid somewhere, and he didn't look bad. Romarin, was it Borrell? Also a new player, group League One, Burton Albion. Tyrese Campbell, 21-year-old striker, could be a long-term investment.
Yeah.
Ajax own Genario Johnson from Ajax, and Tyrese Hall, 19 years old. Tyrese Hall from Tottenham.
But wait, so my thing though is, if I was to ask you, like, what's your biggest takeaway from this squad, what would it be?
I mean, it's the usual suspect. I mean, for me, I don't try to. I don't want to overreact to a provisional squad, because yes, you'll pick from that pool for the CONCACAF Gold Cup tournament. You dwindle it down to your 23. So some of these names like Alvas Powell, I mean, big up yourself, brother. Big up yourself, family. But I mean, Corey Burke, they're kind of, I envision like these players are probably on the list just in the case of emergency. Last case scenario. It's me I say. So I don't expect to see those players in the final 23, because they've had their run with the Reggaeboyz, and the team has moved on. Now, that being said, I don't know, because I've seen, how many times have I seen Mason Holgate? And Mason Holgate probably Mason Holgate didn't impress me.
Right. I mean, I agree. I am right there with you that I wasn't that impressed with him either. But the question that I would have to ask is, do you look at this 60-man squad, right? What I gather from this squad is these are the 60 best players available to Jamaica. That's a problem to me, Naventa.
Why?
60 best. And you're telling me that these are my best options?
I mean, who is missing? What would you like?
But that's the thing. I am not. All right, Junior Fleming using BM's baller.
Okay, Junior Fleming. Okay.
Somebody that BM bring up. How many Junior Flemings are out there that would love to get an opportunity if not getting that opportunity? But Mikel Antonio can get a right in.
I think the Mikel Antonio scenario is like a relationship sort of deal. Mikel Antonio, in my opinion, and I could be totally wrong, has credit with this club, or his reputation is well respected with the club, with the coach. And the coach said something to that effect. Said, it's not just his play, but his leadership in the group at the media day. So he referenced leadership as a part of the group. So, of course, he does. He does. I think he hopes that Mikel Antonio plays, of course, but he spoke to leadership, included leadership in his description and his appreciation for what Mikel Antonio brings to the group. So maybe it's a scenario where Mikel Antonio is one of the elder statesmen in the setup, and he's looked up to provide guidance to the players who are coming behind, because they have Gold Cup and they have World Cup qualifiers, and so there's gonna be a lot of juggling in this window, because you can't really you would prioritize the World Cup over the Gold Cup any day, right?
Right.
But you're going to see the Guatemala team in the World Cup qualifying, you're going to see them in Gold Cup. And to that end, you also want to make sure that from a leadership standpoint, your players recognize, say, yo, we can't just take days off as we go into this kind of... We are getting to the business end of the World Cup qualifiers part of the thing, and the World Cup is supposed to be utilized to kind of help you get ready for that.
I mean, we would hope so, right? That would be the hope, but I still have to question the thought process. I still have to question where that mindset is coming from, because Mikel Antonio don't need to be in the provisional squad to not be a player of importance in terms of leadership. You don't have to be in the squad to still not have influence. So I push back on that a little bit.
Fair enough. The playing minutes is something that I'm very concerned. I'm very excited to see Warner Brown and some of the young players, not young players, but some of the players that I thought, all right, is it Sully McCalla had a golden opportunity against, was it St. Vincent? All right, where am I looking at? Vincy Heat. Ezra Henderson's side. And I hope they don't dismiss him because of that miss. I hope because I think he's one player that he's one of those players that you can rely on. It's me I deal with. It's kind of, I don't know. It's sometimes some of these things is going back to the well again. And again, I don't want to make too broad statement on a provisional squad roster, because it's not the 23 yet. When we see the 23, no, we can say, yo, kind of pluck with this.
Let me see if we can call B. Go ahead. I hear.
So Casey Palmer was coming back from an injury, yeah?
No, I see if we can call BM, because BM have some good points and put in a chat.
Casey Palmer was coming back from an injury. Hopefully he's up, he's ready, he's good to go. I think Johnny Russell last time turned on the call up. So that midfield era is still a concern, and I don't know, maybe one of these new faces will help to rectify some of the issues. Michelle said that squad is the same old for me. Nothing inspiring. Yeah, nothing inspiring. That's just true. It's the retread, right? See, sea of names. I mean, you know. But I,
Yo, BM.
Greetings, ball chat.
Yeah,
Greetings,
go
ball
ahead.
chat.
Yeah, you hear it?
Yeah, man, I can hear you.
See that. Bed done.
yeah, man, we can hear BM. Bless up yourself, family.
Yeah, man, bless up, bless up. Regarding the squad, honestly, again, I don't get why Junior Fleming cannot make this team. 60 player pool and no Fleming. Yet Mikel Antonio, who hasn't played football in 6 months, is there because he told the coach to pencil him in. Like, seriously? So Mikel Antonio gets to decide when he plays or if he plays?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he has. I think the coach, and this is one of those scenario where you don't know a guy already, is friend and friend, there's a relationship sort of deal, you know. It shouldn't be the case because ultimately you should be looking at merit. Because having a player,
Exactly.
yeah.
So I'm going to be that guy, and I'm going to risk getting defamation lawsuit again. I think Junior Fleming is still radioactive.
Radioactive from what though, Junior?
The comment that he had with London Donovan.
That shouldn't have nothing to do with Jamaican football.
It does, because this is a 60-man squad to go to Gold Cup in America.
No, sir, I can't believe that.
It does.
I don't think so. Because even after the incident in the USL, he still played for Jamaica like 2 years after. I think what happened was, do you recall the incident in Suriname with Dalton Wint?
Yes.
I think it's coming from there. From that time, he hasn't played since that window. Because I heard some unfortunate incidents occurred in Suriname. And the funny thing is, some of the other players who were involved with that are still in the team. But for some reason, they're blacklisted Junior Fleming.
Could it be too strike?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if we have to Junior Fleming play for Fleming's play for Jamaica anytime soon again, family.
If not, no. Even though, if this is a Steve McLaren 60-man squad or is this a JFF 60-man squad? Because if it's a Steve McLaren 60-man squad, he probably haven't seen Junior Fleming play. He probably doesn't even know Junior Fleming exists. So that's something.
I think it's a mixture of both. Because the reality is, people in the JFF. The reality is, there are people in the JFF who were always behind the scenes trying to influence team selection. So I think it's Steve McLaren and people in the JFF. I think it's both.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's both also.
So what's your confidence level? I know you kind of hint towards it in the group, but put yourself on record right now, Bia. What's your confidence level towards the
Gold Cup?
Yeah, just looking at the 60-man squad, knowing at least one player is omitted that you think that should have been at least in the 60-man squad. Looking at we have players that haven't played for Jamaica in a while. The last time they played for Jamaica, in some cases, was a nightmare. What is your feeling, or what is your vibe towards the Jamaica team? Because you were one of the first to come out and sound the alarm against the dentist. What's your feeling on Steve McLaren?
Okay, so let me address the team first. Usually, leading up to the Gold Cup, I'm excited because basically that's our like in this region, that's our Euros, that's our Copa America. So I'm usually excited for for Gold Cup. This time around, I'm like not feeling the vibe because honestly, and let me just be honest, Jamaica is not going to win the Gold Cup. We're not. We're just not ready for the video lights. We're not, and we have to be honest with ourselves. We're not in a position to win this tournament. especially given the fact that I expect the USA and the Mexico and Canada to bring their strongest teams. Because this is the last major tournament before the World Cup. I don't think we're in a position to compete for the World Cup. I'm just being honest. As far as the tournament itself, it's Mexico USA again. I mean, we have seen Canada and Panama keep dropping the ball. They have good teams to compete and win tournaments, but they keep dropping the ball. So I expect USA or Mexico again to win, which is basically a snoozer. So that's where it's at for me. As far as McLaren, again, he's just telling us what he thinks we want to hear. McLaren, this job for him is a retirement job.
Yeah.
I don't think he's interested. I don't think he's motivated. It's a retirement job. And I got the same feeling from Hal Grimson before he left. Very nonchalant, you know, doing the bare minimum, you know, so I'm seeing the same too with McLaren.
No, BM, this World Cup thing is a little bit tricky still now because prior to going to the World Cup, the Reggaeboyz will need to cement World Cup advancement to the next round for the World Cup, right? Because they play British Virgin Island on the June 7th, and then 3 days later, June 10th, they play Guatemala at the National Stadium. And only the winner of the group advance to the next round of the World Cup qualifier. Right? So
No, it's top two. It's top two.
it's top two. Okay, it's
top two.
Okay, yeah, top two. Because then they're going to break up into what? Four groups of
But
four.
the thing is, we need to finish first, because if we don't finish first,
so you can
run the risk of getting a top group.
Yes.
In the other round, yeah.
Yeah, so you can avoid a more competitive group in the next round.
Right.
Yeah. So the game against, I mean, of course we want to beat British Virgin Island, but that game, I do expect us to beat British Virgin Island.
Are you sure? Well,
Yeah,
we saw what
I do
happened with
expect us to
Vincent
beat.
and last year with Dominica. So are you sure?
Yeah, we're supposed to be. I think Junior, we always say this: if we can't beat British Virgin Island, then we don't need to go on a World Cup.
Yep.
And I mean, big man talk. If we can't beat British Virgin, no, it probably will be a little bit difficult. But at the end of the day, I do expect Jamaica to beat British Virgin Island. So top two from each group will advance to the final round. And then this is where the rubber meets the road in the final round. So, yeah. So you want to, Guatemala does have a superior goal difference. So that game against Guatemala, we know Central American teams playing Jamaica. Is that it's gonna be a lot of the whole tactics of foul or whatever, just wasting time. Because Guatemala, with the superior goal difference, providing that both teams are equal on points going into that game, will just need a draw for then win the group.
Yep.
Right.
So not only are we supposed to beat British Virgin Islands, we're supposed to baptize them.
Well, last year we struggled to beat DR and Dominica. And Dominica is ranked 180 in the world, and we struggled to beat them 3-2. And then in the Gold Cup qualifiers, we struggled against St. Vincent. So with Jamaica, anything is possible.
Oh boy.
It depends on which team plays, and it depends on if you play some hungry man or if you play some man that is ordained in the position. So, like I say, it is must-see TV. Michelle said we better beat BVI. So we will see. We will see how it goes. But I always say, if we can't beat Virgin Islands, if we can't beat Dominican Republic, it don't make no sense to take about World Cup. Now, DR, it took a corner kick from DR headed out and Jamaica break on the counter to beat them 1-0 last year. Last year. Never forget that. And I think that was McLaren's first game, if memory serves correctly.
No, Hal Grimson was still there. Hal Grimson.
Was Hal Grimson? Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
Shamar Nicholson 1-0 against DR, June 7th, 2024.
That game lives in my mind that Jamaica needed a corner kick counter attack to beat them.
No, I will give Dominican Republic credit because I think they have improved significantly, especially youth level. But British Virgin Island, Chacha, no man, we need to islands. We need to baptize that team. I see June 7th, family. Watch along. Reggaeboyz versus British, at least 4 or 5, 6 them team I forget. This team forget.
And that is in 2 weeks.
That is 2 weeks.
2 weeks from Saturday.
And then Guatemala on June 10th before we head into the World Cup. So
that would play Guatemala the first game.
Yes. So the games next week, the Unity Cup games. The game against Trinidad and Tobago, and then subsequently whosoever, either Nigeria or Ghana. On Saturday, June 30th or whatever, May 30th, not June. May 27th.
Yeah, sometime next week.
Yeah. May 27th and 28th, right?
Yeah.
And those 2 games are pivotal to kind of make sure you have your ducks in a row going into that World Cup qualifier game, because that's pretty much the last meaningful game before that World Cup qualifier game.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. So, what do you think about Jamaica's obsession with Ravel Morrison? I do not get it. This is a field footballer. Yes, at Man U, he was a promising youth prospect, but the reality is he has not done anything at the senior professional level. Yet Jamaicans have this obsession with this player. I don't get it. And okay, again, back to Flemo. Flemo is playing in UAE, in the top tier in the UAE. Ravel Morrison is playing in the 3rd tier of the UAE. But Jamaicans are saying that Fleming should not be selected, but every day on social media, Ravel. I don't understand.
So he's not in the roster, right? Because I'm looking at it right now. He's not. Because unless I'm missing his name.
Yeah, he's not there. He's not there. But people on social media are saying that he should be there. Why is he not there? He's our best midfielder.
Okay. Junior, you want to take that one first?
Well, for playing devil's advocate, has there been a better playing midfielder wearing a Jamaican jersey than Ravel have shown glimpses of? Because to be fair, years ago when Ravel done the jersey and was playing, he did look the part. I can recall Ravel playing one good game for Jamaica against Suriname in the Nations League. That's it. The other performances, average. But then average, like let me tell Benton earlier, you get a C, like Bruno get a C, while everybody else get a F. Because Ravel, if I have to pick between Ravel and Casey Palmer, I'm picking Ravel. If I have to pick between Ravel and Tyreek McGee, I'm picking Ravel. And I know I picked Tyreek McGee on purpose. If I have to pick between Ravel and Bobby Reid with the 2 different positions, but Ravel can be serviceable in the 10, I am seriously thinking of playing Ravel. And so maybe I am one of those Jamaicans that you reference, BM, that just have an infatuation with him, because the man, the potential is there, and no matter how old he is, the potential is there, and at least he tries to look the part.
Yeah, I'll tap him.
Daniel Johnson was still available. I would play Daniel Johnson over everybody.
No.
But here's my thing though. Ravel Morrison has played for about 15 clubs in his career.
Make it about 30.
This player went. Everywhere he went, he did last season. And also he struggled to get minutes. And by the end of the season, they showed the door. So if he's so great, if he's this great player, why can't he hold on a contract? Like he's been to Sweden, Mexico, Italy, he's been all over the globe. And nobody wants him.
We know Ravel is.
I mean, something has to be wrong. Something is wrong.
We know the report. We know the reports. We know the I would even say rumors. Those are reports of Ravel being Ravel. Cases of Ravel being Ravel, and we don't really get evidence of that for Jamaica. Other than no, it wasn't even him with the first class team. So we know Ravel has his wings.
Actually, the captain's documentary. If we go back to that documentary, he was one of the divisive figures in the dressing room. He was. He
because I think he was portrayed that way because of the name brand. But we wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far.
But based on what I saw in that documentary and what I've heard subsequently, it seems like Ravel and certain players in the team don't get along.
Right. That is true. And we have confirmation of that. And we have confirmation of the cracks that happen. And yes, Ravel seemed to be one of the outspoken ones on one side of the fence. And that too has been confirmed. And maybe that's why I'm not even in the 60-man squad. Because you would think
it's not. I know that.
Really?
Yo, we are all right. Do we want to do better? Yes. We all want to do better. This Ravel thing, we need to get over it. Move on. I think Ravel has had his chance.
Time to move on.
Multiple chances. And he did not. No, man. No, done. I'm actually, sometimes I hear the conversation around Ravel. It's a similar dialogue around Tyreek McGee. It's like people are seeing something that the rest of us not seeing when they play. And it's not translating to consistent, productive production for Jamaican football. Now, they may be talented players, but at the end of the day, you have to look at who has done the job while they've gotten the opportunity. And so, no, I don't know. Call Ravel and hope saying deliver again. I don't join them chorus there.
But many Jamaicans, once they can't shift and pile on salad, man, you're a big baller. Look at Walter Boyd.
That is true. And I'm guilty of it sometimes. Because I tend to rewind salad and pile enough time. But at the end of the day, I mean, we are trying to move the thing forward. And I mean, I think like youths like Joshie and Anglin and those young players who are working at midfield, I would love to see. Now, granted, Joshie and I've gotten some minutes and he definitely didn't lit the world on fire. But the problem is, don't cast him aside. I rather support them young players than a Ravel. Because, I would rather support those young players who are willing to put a shift in. They're error prone. They might make a bag of mistake. You see Corey Anderson? Corey Anderson is a workaholic, even though he make quite a few mistakes. Now you can say to Corey Anderson, say, let's work on fixing these mistakes so we can make you a better player. But one thing you can never doubt is the shift that he puts in when he gets on the park. So, and I think that's probably one of the biggest issues with Tyreek. If Tyreek McGee would willing to put the work in on the park, the other stuff would just go to the side. The missed passes, the nonchalant. But we can't have them money and walk up and down on the field and all that. And we a lose ball game.
I'm not sure if you guys know a young midfielder in the JPL by the name of Mikael Ellis. But that kid that guy has a lot of potential, and I'm not sure why he's not given a look in.
Which team him play for?
Racing. I think Racing.
Okay. You know, say I think me hear some talk about it. But there's a baller down at Tivoli. What name? Nada.
Fuller.
The one at Tivoli, Fuller name?
Yeah, Fuller.
Yeah,
I don't recall his first name, but I think it's Nikhail or something like that.
yeah,
I don't remember his first.
Nikhaila. That youth has some potential. Some potential. Actually, I think he's in the 60. I think I
Is
did.
he? I didn't see
Yeah,
him.
Nikhaila Fuller. Yeah, he's there. He's
Oh, he's there?
definitely there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Nicola Fuller is there. No, man, the Tivoli brother, no, is one of them yard baller when him do look at things, you know, him definitely has start the hyper boss, you know. So we have to make sure send the force right yet. But he definitely
Okay.
does
Yeah.
have some
I see
potential.
now.
Yeah, man, I'm there.
Before you,
Yeah, but again, some of these players though, and Junior alluded to it earlier. Some of these players are not hungry, they're not motivated, they're not focused, and I think it's time to move on from some of these players. Shamar Nicholson, unfortunately, I think we need to start looking elsewhere for a striker.
yeah, man, yeah,
He
man.
is just not. He's just not up. He's just not up to. He's just not up to it.
Yeah.
Like,
And Bobby
Another
Reed,
player is
Leon
Demarai Gray.
Bailey, all them,
Another
man,
player
the
is
time for
Demarai Gray. Demarai Gray is not performing well either.
Damari Gray, yeah, man, yeah, man, yeah, man. All of them. All of them. Yeah, but I want to hear your thoughts on the JPL final, you know, because a whole heap of things are going about the one there, you know. And Cavalier coach said this is business, not feelings.
More Pleasant has the deeper squad, the better quality squad. So I'm going with Mount Pleasant, but Cavalier have shown that they can rise to the occasion. So you can't count them out.
All right,
Well,
sir.
but I would say Mount Pleasant.
But this is potentially the best final for the league, right? I mean, this is with all the recent allegations from Cavalier that Mount Pleasant has, you know, used players illegally or players who were registered with other clubs. This is the best sort of final you could have, these two teams for this moment.
Yeah, it is. And these two, the Mount Pleasant Cavalier rivalry is turning into a Man U Liverpool, AC Milan Inter, a real grudge match.
Yes,
To make this final
yes.
must see TV.
Yeah, man.
So
A trilogy.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, man. A trilogy. We're definitely looking forward to. So, how do you watch a game? BM
Sportsmax.
Sportsmax app. So you just deal with okay.
Yeah, just click on live TV and it's there.
All right, see the Sportsmax app Friday at 4 p.m. Family. Respect, family. Bless
No,
up yourself.
9. Is it 9? I think it's 9 p.m. 9 p.m. Right?
no,
I think I saw 9 p.m.
Yeah, I can make sure so we're not telling people nothing incorrectly, you know, cause
I bet that we saw the schedule that we were talking about why is it at 4?
oh yeah, the time change.
Like I did Sunday it's at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, time change.
I bet I mean Sunday we're like, yo, why the hell about the game at 4 o'clock?
Yeah, I think the schedule, the time change.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that means
It's
you know
9 p.m.
people can.
It take a time.
Yeah. All right, BM, big up yourself, family. We have to go run through Reggae Girls Squad because Reggae Girls Squad just dropped too.
Yeah, man, bless up.
Bless up.
I'm just up here.
So Reggae Girls Squad dropped for the upcoming friendly. We'll go over to Yardy Ball. If we pull up the Yardy Ball on Blue Sky, if we pull up the Reggae Girls Squad.
I'm right here. While I find it, I can go through the squad for you. Leah Brooks, Sydney Schneider, Serena Mensah as goalkeepers.
Before you say that, you know, Sydney, I do some good work, you know. She's playing in Tampa, and she did, yeah. So no Rebecca Spencer. Leah Brooks and Sydney should be the one holding this thing down for the Reggae Girls.
And then the Swaby sisters, Claudia Plummer, Naya Cardoza, Vian Sampson as defenders. Midfielders, Naima Ingleton, Soleil Washington, Amelia Van Zanten, Olufolasade Ademalokun, Atlanta Primus, and Denisha Blackwood. Retread. Forwards, Kayla McKenna, Rihanna Blades, Shania Hills, Chanel Buckley, Cameron Simmons, Kalisa Van Zanten, and Jody Brown. Retread.
Shania Hills, leading goal scorer for Newcastle. Reggae Girls, Bunny Shaw being out. They need someone to lead the line. And maybe Shania Hills is that person. So here's an opportunity. Chanel Buckley is a player that we've been watching through the youth setup. She's done well at the youth level. Now it's time for Chanel Buckley. You know, she's still young, but, you know, hopefully she can get some valuable minutes and make the next step. The Van Zanten sisters, we know them a baller. Soleil Washington is a baller. We know Soleil is a baller. The problem is that this team are going to play against a machine. And Team USA machine.
Yes.
So
a motivated Team USA machine.
So I do not. If this team, this game against the Team USA machine could get ugly, Junior. We saw this, Reggae Girls against Mexico, and the recent games, the 2-match series. I'm not gonna predict this game, brother. So I would. All right, fine. What I would like to see is the Naya Cardosa, Vian Sampsons of the world get more valuable minutes. We know what Alison Swaby is a CB. We know what Alison brings. But we don't feel always play Alison in them games. Come on. As she's getting older, she's just finished from NWS Women's Super League football game with Crystal Palace. Season with Crystal Palace. Time for her to kind of take a look. Soleil Washington, the Van Zandt sisters. Them supposed to get some valuable minutes. And Jody Brown. Time for Jody Brown start make the next step. Make the next step.
I think it's the same thing like what BM said about for the men's team. There are some players we don't need them, and
like who we don't need. For the women's team, you need everything you have.
No, I don't need Jody Brown. Sorry. I know disrespect. Look, and I'm going to purposely tread lightly with my opinions because it's a different kettle of fish we're dealing with, and I don't want to piss off the wrong person in this space. So I'm going to be very careful. But some players should graciously thank them for their services and move on. And there are some games we don't need to play. We just have to come to grips and come to terms with who we are at the current moment. Sure, we want to say we're playing at the top level, but play at the top level when you are ready. Play at the top level when you are right. Prove that you are ready to play at that top level. Don't just assume, Jamaica make it to the last 2 World Cups, so they should be ready. Oh, Jamaica has nothing but professional players. They should be ready to play against Team USA. No, the hell you are not ready to play against Team USA. So hopefully we don't get more than 6-love, but I'm not holding.
Yeah, this could be a 6-love sort of game. This is based on what we saw against Mexico. Now, Busby can come back and prove us totally wrong. Coach Hubert Busby Jr. can prove us wrong. And
Prove
yes,
yourself wrong first. You're not proving squat to me. Prove it to yourself.
prove it to yourself. But I will say this: if Jamaica gets 6 love or worse, there needs to be an assessment of Hubert Busby's coaching tenure with this group.
Yes.
And I think the reason why I said is, me I try and make sure somebody get my point across clearly. All right, so Busby is part, in the way I see it, Busby is part of that continuum, that continuation from the first coach, Hubert, not Hubert, from Menzies, Hugh Menzies, sort of tree. And so the philosophy doesn't fall too far from that. So you have some new players you're injecting in the group right now. So we need a coach who can bring this thing forward. I think with the Reggae Girls. I think injection of new ideas. Busby said that there are veteran players in the squad who we rely on heavily. With them not being there provides an opportunity for other players to definitely step up and show what we can do. The players, sometimes we put them in different positions. We are very open in terms of shortcomings all around. There are things we can improve on. But with this squad, there's truly a flexibility of players. He mentioned Naima, Vayan, Mimi, as in Amelia Van Zanten, Denisha Blackwood, can also serve as defenders. Denisha Blackwood can serve as defender?
Yeah. Wing back.
Yeah, but she no defend.
Yeah, but actually she does. She does. Give her some credit. She
I
does.
mean, Denisha Blackwood likes to go up the field.
She's just like Trent.
Yeah, but Trent more effective. Trent that leads the goals.
Remember, one thing that she does well is she can hit the dead ball. She can strike the dead
She can
ball.
definitely hit the dead ball.
So
Definitely hit the dead ball.
and she in the World Cup she played wing back, left wing back. So she can play defend. BM says the Reggae Girls seem lost without Bunny Shaw. That's a big problem given her recent injury record. Busby seems unsure about what he wants to do. The team plays the same. Exactly. And we can't bother with them.
Yeah, I mean, I think the way the team has been built and the carryover from Lorne, big up yourself, Lorne. The team took on a defensive posture. I don't know what exactly on the Lorne. I don't know on Vin Blaine's. Vin Blaine was trying to be more a passing team. He had McCoy in that midfield playing that role to try and move the ball around. And so they were, but of course they were playing against Caribbean teams, but the philosophy of Vin Blaine was more of a passing sort of setup. I don't know what Busby philosophy is, and maybe it will become more pronounced in this Busby and Dean Burton's philosophy. But
yeah, whatever. You can't tell that against a team you're going to be pegged back against.
Brother, listen, man, you're a coach. You need to figure it out. The philosophy is not just for when you attack. You have the philosophy of how you have to play as a different posture. How you have to take on for capital, because again you need to capitalize, because you can't just go plan to go defend and try score no goals.
That's not happening. Not happening, sir.
June 3rd, Reggae Girls will take on Team USA. I think should we do a watch along for this ball game?
Sure. You like pain.
Should we do a watch along for this ball game? Yo, a time for go over we yard. We don't know. We don't know about the watch along for the Reggae Girls ball game, because it's not good for sit down and do a watch along and see a side I get 6.
Well, Sunday again. Speaking of watch along, we might turn on the machine Sunday.
All right, so Sunday Junior, I would hope by now you have a clear definitive. So if a machine turn on Sunday, turn on.
Yeah.
Okay, so people watch this space. final thing before we go where we are. The JPL final. Want to hear your official prediction, family?
Mount Pleasant, 2-1 extra time.
So Tapa gets his next trophy. How big how much riding on this final for Tapa and Mount Pleasant? Does Tapa Whitmore needs to win this final to keep his job, in your opinion?
To keep his job? No. Tapa needs winning this will give him validation. And worse, doing it against the person who snitched on you or tried to snitch on you. That will give him validation, but that's it.
Friday, 8 p.m. You know, hey, yo, should we do a watch along for the final? What on Friday?
No, not on Friday. We check the sports box.
People, Friday, if the machine turn on, we're doing a watch along for JPL. Why not? Support the reggae Jamaican things. Cavalier versus Mount Pleasant, because it's must watch TV, 8 p.m. Friday, May 23rd.
That's 9 p.m. our time.
9 p.m. our time.
Yeah.
Okay. Yo, that you know. Big up to the listeners.
Come on.
That. Big up. BM said, remember Rudolph Speid also fired Tapa. Hey, Rudolph Speid said at the postman press conference, big up to Knockins and Ballerfoot. Big up on yourself. Now do some good work. Rudolph Speid said, yo, this is a business. This is not feelings. Yo, it's one of them. Check out that interview on Knockins' YouTube channel. That's one of the funniest. Rudolph Speid shows that he has personality, family.
If that's what you call personality, then
well, he did. I mean, this is relative to the boring Rudolph Speid that, no, well, I guess it might say me I defame him. But this is, you know what? I'm looking forward to this final. And of course, Tapa's interview is on the same channel. Knockins' manager and Ballerfoot did interview Tapa, but so why Knockins never interview Rudolph Speid Jr.?
You're crazy. They're in the midst of litigation.
Jamaica Premier League final Friday, May 23rd, 9 p.m. our time, 8 p.m. Jamaica time. National Stadium. Players supposed to sell off. Big game. We'll see if we line up yourself and do a watch along for this game, because I will be watching this game. Big game. Big game. And also for the massive, Rudolph Speid did say, yo, I'm saying media, I do them hype about him on Tapa vibes. And say him on Tapa bridging. Because at the conclusion of them at the final what day, them a hug each other and give each other a dap and big up or whatever. So both men seem to be enjoying themselves. You know, them are enjoying the moment, and I think both of them recognize that, you know, the rivalry is something that is bit better for the league and for Jamaican football on a whole.
Yeah.
All right, I that you know. Hit that. Connect with us on Instagram, Ball Chat Podcast, also the same address on Blue Sky. Big up to I Am Jamaica Facebook group. Big up to the family. Make sure to check out I Am Jamaica Facebook. This is the penultimate Ball Chat show for club football season, family. Sunday is the season finale. We're going to do watch along, and then we're going to do weird. We're going to do a regular show at 5 p.m. By the way, before we go, Junior, Sunday a carnival weekend, you know.
Yeah.
Ghana Day and VID and Carnival Parade are going on. But I know 5 o'clock ball chat are going.
I could see what wants. People just play it close to the vest.
Yeah, we are doing show, but we might be doing it from Carnival location.
Or doing it very quickly.
But we're doing watch along for the Premier League. Big up on yourself, family.